somebody said, how high do we think that Bitcoin could go? Um, the I mean, that really just depends. Like, do you mean how high do we think it could go this year, or how high it could go in general? Because I mean, as for in general, I mean, we could see it probably end up hitting $1 million. I don't see that as being unrealistic at all. It's just a matter of when, right? So when you ask how high it will go, are you asking how high it will go, by the end of this year, or what? By
By
the
the end
end
of,
of 2023?
that's a good question. Okay, that's a pretty good question.
So
All right,
I would say when it comes to crypto in general, it's really gonna depend on how adoption is moving forward. So if you think about where we're at right now, if we stayed where we're at right now, say essentially nothing really changed much between now and 2023 in the regards of adoption, then you're probably going to be seeing it somewhere to back to around the 50 or 60K mark, because I believe that it's probably going to be going back to the 60K mark before the end of the year. Um, but it just kind of depends on how the adoption is. So 2023 is pretty far to say because it kind of depends. We had gotten recent news about how India wants to start talking about about Bitcoin and what its use cases could be, and about changing it over to a an asset class for India. So not necessarily the same thing that El Salvador did about making it into a legal tender, but then they are talking about changing it into an asset class. So I mean, it just kind of depends on how adoption goes moving forward. If more and more people begin to understand how cryptocurrency works, and more and more, let's say, you know, authentic projects are coming out that have you know good use cases or practical use cases, or just something that makes sense for whatever it is that they are doing, then it's gonna that's what's gonna end up driving prices up.
right now
I
would be the time. Like
you
if
know
you wanted to invest more, right now would be an absolute great buying time. Personally, in my opinion, um, is to touch down on what he was just speaking on with the 2023. It definitely is going to have to play its role with adoption, like he said. More countries are coming around to the fact that Bitcoin could be a great store of value, and El Salvador, obviously, like he said, turned it into a legal tender, so that's great. So that opens up the doors for more purchases to Bitcoin and more money to flow in and out of Bitcoin, right? So at that token, we also have to play in what's going to happen with the news, what's going to happen with the FUD or the positive news, the negative news. Also, by the time 2023, at the end, there's going to be a lot of stuff being created around that time, a lot of news, a lot of media going into, and we can't really predict exactly what's going to happen by that time, due to the fact that there's so much stuff to take course in between right now and 2023 that personally, in my opinion, I see it sitting around like 72,000 by the end of 2023. But we don't know I don't know exactly personally what it could do before then, but I see it by the end of this year at least back up to 56,000.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I was saying. I think the highs that we saw in the coming year, like we hit here on Litecoin, they were at almost $400. I imagine they probably on some exchanges went over $400. And right now they're sitting at 156. So it's kind of like one of those things where it's just like, I feel like we're gonna slowly end up climbing back to where we were before, not necessarily at the 60,000 range, but more so on you know mm, I would say probably about 52, 40, between 48 and 52. That will probably be that would probably be where we'll end up being at the end of the year, so long as everything continues to you know go in the direction that's progressive for crypto in general, right? So you know I don't
Well,
think.
from the talk, they said that at the end of this week, once this week was ending, it was going to be the end of the bear market, right? So hopefully, we'll be seeing a bull market. We'll be on upward trends next week, and see some of these prices climb back up, and you know, who knows? Bitcoin might only go right back up to 38 and keep dropping down, going back up 38 and keep dropping down like it has been. But I see it peaking back up.
Yeah, I think we did pretty. I think we did pretty good today. Or not necessarily today, but like over the past, the past, few days. We bottomed out down over here at 31, and then we recovered back, and so, we just basically kept, trying to test out that, 38,000 range, and so that's kind of what's, you know, it, disheartening for us to go back into another dip. But I mean, it just kind of depends on you know where we're at come you know tomorrow, and then going through the weekend.